protecting yourself?
Well, Kyle Larson and Bubba Wallace especially, if they get into a wreck in this last stage here and don't finish the race where they're running right now, they've scored enough points today to help leapfrog themselves up into the total amount of points scored.
Yeah, for sure. You don't get them stage points, you better get a good finish at the end. If you don't, you've dug yourself a big hole.
One fellow who's smiling right now is Ty Gibbs. He is now leading his first laps of 2025. And in the last 3 races, he has moved from 34th, the basement, up to the ground floor, 20th in the standings. Look at the last 3 races compared to the first 6.
Yeah, I think
what a great turnaround.
The last 3, I think, if my memory serves me correctly, I think it was 9th, 13th, and 3rd. And then the 3 before that were 25th, 22nd, and 25th. Huge turnaround.
It has been a huge turnaround, and you know, last couple of years we've put Ty Gibbs on that radar of being in position to win races. We expected him to win. Had some things change in the team, and they kind of treaded water, and now they've got things turned around over the last few weeks. So it's been pretty good for Ty Gibbs lately.
His wingman right now, Denny Hamlin, the senior driver at Joe Gibbs Racing, as he sometimes described himself. Speaking of Hamlin, here's the progressive race summary. With 53 laps to go, we've had 21 leaders, 54 lead changes, and still have 32 cars on the lead lap. Toyota's in the front 5, Ford's in the next 5, Chevy's the next 2. Yikes! Anthony Alfredo.
That was a wreck that just didn't happen, Kevin.
Yeah, I'm not sure exactly what he was doing right there, but definitely about caused the wreck, that's for sure.
You know, if you're Joe Gibbs and you're watching your cars right here, running at the front, right where they need to be, the drafting tracks since the Gen 7 era haven't been the best to them. Bell winning in Atlanta, what we consider now a drafting track, was basically their only one, so they could pull off a win here. Huge step in the right direction, back to the dominance that they had at one time with that old car.
52 laps to go here in the final stage. Instead of showing you a car commercial, we're going to stay right here for commercial-free racing from Talladega. Thanks to Toyota, all out. Ty Gibbs has led now 8 laps. He's been out front for the last 8 in a row. Right behind him, Denny Hamlin, who led once for 7 laps. Josh?
Well, yeah, and you guys are talking about Ty Gibbs in the last 3 races and where he's been able to jump to in the standings. And I talked to Tyler Allen, his crew chief, earlier today, and he said the big thing they had to reevaluate during the off week was just getting more efficient with their workload, getting a baseline back to where they need to be. He was admitting that, yes, we had some growing pains earlier this year, but now that we have an idea of where we need to be, we have a better idea of what we can do out here, and we're showing that we can do it. We just have to keep that level of confidence going. Regan?
Well, Chase, the 19 car of Chase Briscoe running in the 6th position right now. Something to keep an eye on as we near the final pit stops of this race. Crew Chief James Small told me earlier today it was going to be very important for Chase, who's not been in this 19 car for only 9 races now, to understand how to get on pit road, how the braking system is going to work when they get down to pit road, but also how to get in and out of the pit box. He stalled earlier today. He will not be able to do that and maintain his track position here on this final stop. Keep an eye out for that.
Well, that's a difficult scenario at these speedway races. You have to rev the engine up enough to get those tires spinning. You don't want to spin the tires too much and just sit there and waste time, but you have to have the engine revs up, or as soon as they drop that jack and you hit the gas, it'll just completely stall that motor.
Definitely a fine line of what you're talking about there. It's too much spin and you blow the tires off of it, it just acts like it just sits there and doesn't go anywhere. Not enough to kill it. Then you really look bad.
There's Eric Jones with his Toyota Cam. Has had kind of a quiet day, run in the mid-20s for most of the day. So is his teammate John Hunter Nemechek, though Nemechek was up at the front of the pack for a short time. Tyler Reddick currently 16th. A really nice day for Riley Herbst up in third spot. You know, the 26-year-old rookie from Las Vegas finished a career best 9th here in 2023, and here he is right up in contention in third spot with 49 to go.
Yeah, and you know, I think that the intentions for everything with Riley when he started before this season was to put him on the super speedways, and we saw him have some success. So I think this is probably as comfortable as Riley has been because of the fact that he's run so many of these races. So it's great to see him up front.
Larry Mack?
Yeah, I've been watching those top three Toyotas, the 54 Gibbs, the 11 of Hamlin, and the 35 of Riley Herbst. They are not saving fuel. 100% throttle right now. Gibbs and Hamlin are actually starting to drag the brake just a little bit, but not coming off the throttle. Now, Mike, you had asked me earlier about strategy. Go back a year ago, the Toyotas came early about lap 152. The window is close to being open right now to make it to the end.
All right, we'll see how that strategy plays out, and thanks to Toyota for providing us with more green flag action here from Talladega with Toyota all out. Well, one way you can easily tell from home the pace has picked up is we're not 3 wide and 4 wide anymore.
Yeah, it's
the tell-all sign.
It's
what it
the
is.
tell-all sign. When they're too wide, they're definitely all the way wide open, hammer down, trying to do everything that they can do to protect their track position now. We're getting close enough to the end of this race that we know we have to make another pit stop, but you want to be in the front of this field. We've heard the drivers talk about it. You can't ride around anymore. You can't sit in the back, and hope is a bad strategy. Be in the front, control as much as you can by being in the front of the pack. Jamie?
Well, we've talked a lot about fuelers today. Brooke Davenport is that man for Ross Chastain. And, you know, there's no fuel gauges in these cars. So, Brooke, how do you guys know how much fuel you get in these cars during a stop?
Yeah, so there's no fuel gauge. So it all kind of goes with our good friends at GM. They give us a number that's pretty close. They can ballpark. Right after the stop, these things are pretty fast. The only thing faster was the bush light on the boulevard going down with the pans last night. We get a before weight on these, and we'll put them on the scale right here. And we're able to get an after weight, and then it's just an easy algebraic equation. We do a before and after, and Sunoco gives us a number, and you divide it by how many laps you run. So it's really just addition and subtraction, and our guys add it up, and they get a pretty good gauge on how much we'll need.
There's a lot of math going on. You see almost 100 pounds, 1 can of fuel. So those numbers go up to the race engineer. Then the race engineer can then tell the driver when he needs to start saving and how much, Mike.
Yeah, but Larry, what happens when there's some on the ground? It didn't go in the car or in that can. How do you add that into the old equation?
I had to learn how to estimate how much is on the ground.
That's ounces, Clint. 6.5 pounds per gallon for gasoline.
Yeah, but what about the one that didn't go in the car?
Yeah, when it's on the ground, it's a harder calculation.
You'll be fine.
Yeah.
Ish. We think you're good.
Yeah, the bad part about that is that got way harder than anything that we're capable of, Clint. When he started talking math, we knew we were in trouble.
The algebraic equation is what got me. I knew he was out.
Single file at the front of the field. The Toyotas are hammered down. 5 of them out front of 5 Fords, and then the Chevrolets. Sun-drenched crowd at Talladega. They've seen 147 laps, 41 to go. 5 Toyotas leading now, 3 Fords, and then a mixed bag of Chevys, Toyotas, and Fords from there on back.
Check out this 8 car. I'm pretty impressed. I looked down, trying to look down, take care of some business. Biggest mover, Kyle Busch in the 8 car, up 23 positions. That car was a lap down, right front damaged, the left front's been corded. They've been all over the place, and they're not out of this thing yet. In contention.
Well, let me tell you what else is about ready to go down, and that's pit stops. And what we've seen today are a lot of mistakes. We've seen a lot of things go right, but like we were talking during the break, Clint, when you have enough cars and you can time this right, that's gonna mean a lot, because of the last pit stop is obviously the money stop. But we haven't seen too many of them get it right. We've seen 4 cars come out because 2 cars had penalties or had trouble on pit road. So who's not gonna make mistakes? That's really what this is gonna come down to.
I wholeheartedly agree. I think it's a number of cars, and I think it's minimizing mistakes amongst the cars.
You're riding with Eric Jones, the Toyota Cam, looking at our pole sitter, Zane Smith, who lost radio contact with his team for about 5 or 6 laps. Neither channel of his radio allowed him to communicate, but they have that resolved now.
Yeah, and sometimes when you're drinking water or something, you might unplug your radio wires or something along the lines of that happening. And when you don't hear anybody for a few laps, your cue as a driver is, okay, maybe I have a problem here. Check my connection for my earphones, check my radio connector, make sure all that stuff is plugged in. So as a driver mentally, you have to have that checklist.
Little bump there in the back straightaway with 39 laps to go. As
look at it.
Give you a NASCAR on Fox Sunday. Crank it up.
I'll get with a 38.5. Sure.
.38 laps to go. Coming up 37.
You heard Logano and company talking about get with a 38 and a 5. Let's go. Ready to make a run, and that's exactly what they're doing, starting to creep forward. Big runs out of the Zane Smith to the bumper of the 22.
And you see it from our aerial covers provided by Goodyear, celebrating 100 years of the American icon, the Goodyear blimp. There's the whole pack at Talladega, 32 lead lap cars, 31 of them within 2 seconds of the leader. And Larry Mack, one pit stop, the money stop to go. When?
Well, the window is open to make it to the end, and I think we're right there now where if you wanted to do some odd strategy like the Toyotas did a year ago, you could come. But now we truly can go to about lap 172, 173.
Laps to go in Talladega, but Friday night we're under the lights in prime time as the Arlington Renegades take on the St. Louis Battlehawks. It's Fox UFL Friday, 8 p.m. Eastern. 5 Toyotas continue to lead the pack here at Talladega, ahead of 3 Fords and 3 Chevrolets. Everybody jostling for position to be in the right place at the right time to make that green flag stop.
Well, you kind of led me to where my head's at here. Okay, you got 6 Toyotas, give or take, and what, top 20, Larry, 8 Fords, 6 Chevrolets. Obviously, there's more out there, but that's kind of in the top 20, 22. You heard, we think Hocevar maybe be looking into pitting with the Toyotas on their strategy. I think those numbers, because of the manufacturer conversation, is going to dictate some teams opting to go with one or the other.
Yeah, they can go another 10, 12, maybe even a little further than that right now. Not a lot of fuel saving going on right now. The chitter chatter on the radio is teams in the garage area and pit road thinks Toyotas will come first, Fords will be the last group to come.
All right, Kevin, let's go further on this Hocevar situation. He's 1.7 seconds back of the lead Toyotas. If he pits with them, how's he going to leave with them and maintain a draft? He's so far back.
Yeah, that's going to be a tall order to make that happen. But as I looked down at his pit stalls and we saw the trouble with this tire carrier earlier, you definitely don't want to pit with the Fords. You've got one in front of you and one behind you, so that strategy's out the window. I don't know why you would want to go against your manufacturer, but we'll have to see how all that plays out.
The only how is coming onto pit road. That's how you make up that 1 second. As those guys slow down in the front, hopefully you're going to have to make that up coming onto pit road, because you're not going to do it getting fuel and you're not going to do it leaving.
And that's a big chance to take. We saw that
100%.
not work out very, very good early in the race.
Yeah, that's a big ask.
Well, right now what we're seeing is how fast that 38 and 22 car are. They are single-handedly making that outside lane work by the 38 pushing the 22 past one car at a time, and they've about got themselves all the way back to the front.
It's funny how the car that was set on the pole and was the fastest car here yesterday is always the good pusher, the guy that you want behind you.
And I think that's a great spot for Zane Smith. I think him being a pusher is a much better position for him than to have the roles reversed.
Well, I think especially when you're talking who he's pushing, three-time champion Joey Logano.
And let's not forget, that third-place car, well, there he goes.
Well, I think that's Stenhouse moving down with a lot. Yes, but he's moving down because of what we're talking about. I think they're getting ready to hit pit road here.
Big move out of 54.
The plan is on.
But when one car moves out of that lane, you see how much it has pulled that outside lane back. So that gap has to be filled. And when they fill that gap, it pulls the front of the speed in the front of the pack back to the cars that were filling the gap behind the 47 cars. So it slowed that outside lane down, and then now they have to start the work over again.
A lot of Chevrolets back further in the pack. They're finding one another. I think that Stenhouse moving down to the bottom lane was exactly what I'm talking about. I think it's very important to be disciplined with the group that you're in, and moreover than probably the track position in which you're running right now.
And you see that car right beside Joey Logano, the 42 car of John Hunter Nemechek. He's actually a lap down, but that is 6 Toyotas lined up on the bottom.
They're in turn 3. Fox around the turn. NHRA 4-wide coverage from Charlotte tonight, 7 p.m. Eastern Time on FS1. IndyCar, Barber Motorsports Park, Birmingham, Alabama, Sunday, May 4th, 1:30 Eastern Time. And we'll be back with NASCAR from Texas Motor Speedway next Sunday, 3:30 Eastern Time on FS1.
Every lap that goes by, guys, the intensity level just keeps notching up because the pressure of having to make this pit stop, get on and off of pit road, and then the intensity that comes with the end of this race is undescribable. I don't even know how you can describe the intensity of the last 20-so laps of these types of races.
Look at the push.
Logano, Smith, look at the speed differential as they charge to the front on the outside.
Logano
as much as 7 miles an hour different than the Toyotas that have been leading this race. Ty Gibbs has been out in front for 32 laps. Joey Logano's about to lead his 22nd lap of this race. Larry, 27 laps to go. What do the trends look like this week?
I've looked at the 6 races at Talladega over the last 3 years with this Gen 7 car. Average of the last caution, lap 169, 19 to go, 3 times in the final 5 laps. But let me remind you, Talladega, an all-time 19 overtime finishes here, second only to Daytona.
Pretty
All
wide,
right, Larry, so when you pack that car with fuel on this final stop, how many overtimes are you planning for with this fuel load?
You're planning on as short a pit stop as you can. I'm going to worry about overtimes later.
When we get there.
What did Richard Boswell say? I need me 4 seconds of fuel.
Okay.
Well, and right now I want to give a shout out to Cole Custer. He's the car that's right behind Zane Smith in that outside lane. I still feel like what we talked about at the beginning of the race is true. I feel like the Fords are faster, they can push better, and they push themselves all the way back to the front. Now, Zane Smith and the 22 car of Joey Logano are not connected, so that definitely takes a little bit of that speed away. But I feel like, and we saw it in qualifying, Zane Smith has the fastest car, Clint.
Certainly does. Now, we're hearing the Toyotas are coming this time. From second on back on the inside, a wave from Riley Herbst to the cars behind him. They're broken up a little bit, but most all of those Toyotas are down on the inside lane, ready to head to pit road, and here they come, and boy, they got a lot of company.
Wow, Herbst coming around the outside of Denny Hamlin, almost turned it around.
Josh?
Well, 32 laps led for Ty Gibbs, put himself in position for his first career win, just needs to execute right here.
12 cars in all on pit road, and Hocevar did come in with the Toyotas, as they had discussed on the radio earlier. Quite a cluster.
Like a pretty good group together pack there, Kevin. I like what I see.
And they're all going to come out together. Hocevar in front of all those Toyotas.
Well, he did exactly what they said they were going to do, and that was pit with those Toyotas, and now he's got control of that group.
Get that thing single file, get up through the gearbox, push, push, push. Let's go, boys.
Well, the biggest thing that he's going to have working against him is the fact that he's got all those Toyotas with him, and they're going to want to do everything that they can to hang him out.
Yeah, but I don't think it'll happen right now. You'll do that later. We're going to use him. Well, I said that.
You were right. The second or so that he was behind those leading Toyotas did not matter when they all came to pit road, and let's just hope he got enough gas.
They got in line well. I was liking what I saw of the performance of that stop collectively. Minimizing mistakes there as a group.
And it looks like about 10 cars. So they've got a really good group of cars put together right there. Pretty orderly, like you said, and efficiency is the name of the game right now on and off of pit road.
These guys are going to have trouble. That's a good group they've put together right there, I'm telling you.
If you look right there, it's the Toyotas and it's the 3 Spire Chevrolets. They all came together.
Nobody pitched this time. Larry, now that Toyota's laid down the gauntlet and made their stop, does it benefit any of these other teams to run long before they stop?
Mike, I want to watch lap times. That's what we have to pay attention to, and I'm sure that's what these teams are doing. Right now, that lead pack with those Fords, Ty Dillon, they're in the 48, 60s, 70s, maybe the 80s. The group that pitted that time by, we've got to see, that was their get up to speed lap. We need to see what they run for a couple of laps.
Yeah, and I think that the big thing that you want to know is how much time is gained and lost when those groups start to organize getting onto pit road. And a lot of times the second groups, they get a little disorganized because they have to fill those holes. They have to work their way down, and it checks the pack up. So it'll be interesting to see those lap times.
So to play off on Clint's point, the reason Carson Hocevar's trip down pit road was so much shorter than the Toyotas, he was stopped about half a second less than they were. That means he got less fuel.
That's right.
Hope he got enough.
Yeah, and right now, that's a risk, that they're obviously willing to take to put themselves in a position to have that track position. That last lap, the pack was still about 0.4 of a second faster.
Oh, no, Ty Dillon.
Hold on to it.
Ty Dillon.
Really loose off the bumper. Josh Berry had to get out of the gas, got down on the apron. Berry had to go to the outside in front of Priest.
31 cars on the lead lap. The top 20 have yet to make their stop. Here's another look at this.
Yeah, and you see Josh Berry, much like what happened earlier with Austin Cindric, probably had too much momentum, and with the shape in that back bumper, just gets that car too loose when you have too big of a head of steam.
I don't think he was very square on him. Hit him in the right rear corner. How's our performance doing out of this single file line of the Toyotas and the rest of the pack, Larry?
Now that everybody's up to speed, the lead pack and then those Toyotas and Spire that's lined up, they're running exactly the same lap times.
The biggest thing that you don't want to have happen if you're this single file group up here with these Toyotas and Spire, you don't want this big pack to start getting sniffs of air off of these cars that they're catching, which is going to happen. Luckily, it's only the 62 car there in front of the big pack, but they're going to start to swallow up a few of these single cars, and that's going to give them a little sniff of draft.
Just don't lose focus on the fact that that big pack still has to pit too and do a good as job as those Toyotas.
And now it becomes a question of, You don't want too many cars to pit together, and you don't want too few.
How many did you tell me that needed to be a perfect line?
It needs to be 7 or 8 cars, and right here you're seeing those 7 or 8 cars break away from the back 2 cars in this pack. You see that gap there, Clint? And sometimes if you get too far behind, you'll lose that group. So, that 7 to 10 is a pretty good number as we see the tail end of those cars catch back up. But the reason they drop back is that accordion effect. And when you get too many cars, that accordion effect breaks that group up, and you've got the cars pushing forward and falling backwards, and it creates a timing problem that slows them down.
Well, that's exactly what happened to Haley. He lost that draft. He actually pitted with them, lost it, and he's about to get swallowed up by the big pack.
Larry, we've got 19 laps to go. For the 20 cars that have not been to pit road, how long before they absolutely have to pit?
Yeah, that's what I'm looking at right now, Mike, is the fuel predictor and throttle. I'm going to say they're going to have to come in the next 5 laps.
That would leave them 13 to go.
Well, that big pack, you see how broke up it is now, Clint. They've started to get into those lap cars. They've started to have people start to file to the bottom.
There we go.
Here they come because of that.
They lost a bunch of time, and the cars that have stayed out are going to lose more time.
Fords.
10 cars come to pit road, Josh.
Over Joey Logano, that car getting tighter towards the end of this run. Looking for his first win here since 2018, Jamie.
RFK car still standing. Jack Roush was on the box watching his driver. He's led 2 laps today, spent a lot of time in the top 10. He makes his way into his box. Regan.
Zane Smith all the way in pit stall number 1, hits the box nicely. The gas man, Christopher Webb, does a nice job of getting to the car. They're going to try and win the race off right here.
Yeah, and the thing that these guys have going for them that's going to save them time is they're probably going to put in less fuel, correct, Larry?
Definitely less fuel because they have a shorter distance to go.
So that's all of the front row cars plus RFK, Kaulig, and a couple of others, 10 cars in all. Here comes almost the rest of the field to pit road. Josh Berry, the first car in.
Keep in mind of your tracker up here. Those cars, those are the first cars in that lead in the group, right? That's what that is saying right there. You see Hocevar, the top right, Berry on the bottom on pit road. Priest and Logano on the bottom.
Yeah, and you see all those cars fanned out in front of them trying to block that run. That is a really bold move by Ross Chastain, but it checked the whole pack up. I promise you, Denny Hamlin is not going to be happy about that. But when you have somebody like Ross Chastain that's willing to put his car in a position like that to check up that pack,
Ross Chastain just wrecked the whole field.
Luckily, it didn't cause a crash.
Well, and that's exactly how you break the advantage up.
Oh, Josh Berry and Kyle Busch too fast exiting.
Man, it is something every week, every single week on that 8.
Jeez, man. That's unfortunate.
Cindric, Byron, Larson, Bowman, Elliott, the 4 Hendrick cars, nose to tail behind Austin Cindric. So Hendrick Motorsports, the big winner on this round.
Rewind.
The flag pit stops.
Well, I'm telling you, the saving grace was the bold move by Chastain pulling up and breaking that momentum up with those Toyotas.
16, now 15 laps to go at Talladega. Who will win it today on the world's fastest speedway?
From Straight Talk.
Guys, I'm gonna just keep it recording, to be honest. They're probably gonna wreck when we're under commercial.
And when you spend less with Straight
Just keep
Talk,
the volume down.
you can get more moments to yourself by getting something
15
for
to
them.
go, and Cindric's out front.
Switch to Straight
It's
Talk.
crazy.
Get a free 5G
They're already
phone
4-3
on
wide.
on America's most
To
reliable
try will
5G
they come
network.
to
Find us at
14 to
Walmart and
go.
StraightTalk.com.
Coming to 10 to go. So close. 14 to go at the line. Cindric leads the field in turn 1. Is that Cole Custer or Harvick? I mean, not Harvick. What am I talking about? Let's say Kyle Larson. Byron on the middle lane. Got help. Teammate right there too. Noah Gragson. Ryan Priest. Kyle Larson up here. Turn 3 now. Coming into turn 4. Coming to 13 laps to go at Talladega. And at the line, it is 13 to go. Cindric getting a big push by Kyle Larson.
To tell you the truth, we could take or leave the extravagance. The attention, the celebrity, the bragging rights, the bravado.
Big push by Kyle
Because
Larson,
all we've
dude.
ever really wanted
Byron's
is for
up
every
here.
Ford driver to feel this.
Outside lane moving pretty well now. There's the inside lane. Coming to 12 laps to go at Talladega.
That's why I never leave home without a photo of the little ones.
Bracelet from my husband.
Lucky rabbit's foot.
Lucky rabbit named Swoot. It's Swedish.
12 to go at the line, back to turn 1. Cindric still leads.
Well, there's really no
Imagine if Kyle Larson wins Talladega. That'd be crazy. His first ever Speedway win.
Just going to ignore the fact that Carl has a rabbit.
Or at least at Talladega it is.
Named Swoot.
The Bush Guide, cold and smooth survival skills. To avoid going in circles.
The big one's gonna strike home that
Like that.
8 or 10. I'm
What's
calling
wrong
it.
with going in circles? Different circles, Ross. Okay.
From 10 to 8
Head for the
to
mountains.
go. Coming to 11 to go off of turn 4 to the trioval.
What are you waiting for? Sign up for the free NASCAR Fan Rewards loyalty program today.
Off of 4 to the tribal, coming to 11 to go.
Coming to 11 to go at Talladega, Austin Cindric, who was 25th of all the cars before the pit stop cycle, led his group in and out to hold the lead until just now, with Hendrick Motorsports coming around the
Back
outside.
to turn 1.
And William Byron.
Yeah, and these groups all got put back together because of a really bold move.
It'll be our big move of the race, sponsored by Pods.
Yeah, and what happened right here, when the cars are, the two groups are coming together, you see the slower cars on the bottom, but you're going to see Ross Chastain in a one car right here.
Here's
Cody Ware go to the bottom,
Here's
and
where it
Ross
got
make a
real.
block
Wow.
right there. Denny Hamlin doesn't really know what to do, and Ross kind of faded down, and that slowed the whole Toyota group up, and they were never able to get all the way clear of this group. They were going to blow right by them.
100%. Without that block, a bold move.
But that is a definite
10 to go.
strategy that everybody talks about. Put your car in harm's way to try to slow that group down. And
I guarantee
10
you,
laps
Denny
to
saw
go at
Pods in front
Talladega.
of him. That's exactly what he saw.
Byron's
And
out
as a
front.
result, the Toyotas are now 20th on back. But for Eric Jones in 18th. They're all in a big cluster there, 20th through 25th.
They might tell me that on the radio, but I'm going to have a tough time pulling up there and blocking them group of cars coming at me 50 mile an hour faster.
You got to be aggressive in these cars, and some of those things that happen are pretty
Dude, it's
aggressive.
gonna
And that
get
was
crazy.
definitely on the most aggressive
Oh my
side.
gosh.
Here's Austin Cindric.
It's crazy.
Just remember the 5 will lift coming to the checker. He will not push you by his teammate. 3/4 behind.
Now it gets
Coming
serious.
9 to
Ford
go.
versus Chevrolet at the front. 10 to go.
Well, I can tell you this 2-car is always at the front of these super speedways at the ending of these things. He's been in some wrecks, maybe even caused a couple of them, but you can't take it away from him. Austin
Come on,
Cindric can get the
Cindric.
job done and putting himself in position. The other one, that 24 on the outside.
All right, we're going to take you side by side one final time and then race for the checkered flag here at
Come on,
Talladega.
NASCAR, dude. Quit doing sponsors. Oh my gosh, Cindric's about to wreck the whole field. Watch.
Did you know Toyota has 3 NASCAR Cup teams? We got Team 2311, owned by this guy, and 3-time Daytona winner Denny Hamlin. But Denny Hamlin races for another team.
Coming to 8 to go.
Gibbs Racing. Yeah, Super Bowl winning head coach Joe Gibbs, and they both share the track with Legacy Motor Club, co-owned by 7-time Cup champ Jimmy Johnson. 3 epic teams, 4 legendary owners, all going after 1 cup. Now you're up to speed. You in?
Oh my gosh,
What's
dude.
better
Why are they
than a
not
limited
racing so
time deal?
aggressive,
An
bro?
unlimited time deal.
8 to
That's why
go.
the $5 Biggie Bag with a Junior Bacon Cheeseburger is available all the time. Because the best time for fresh, never frozen beef and Applewood smoked
Dude,
bacon
my heart is
all the
pounding
time.
so.
Duh.
Oh
The
boy.
best deal of all time?
44 on the wall.
It's Pod's biggest sale in history. Save up to 30%
That ought to give him
on
a
moving
caution
and
for
storage
real.
until May
No?
19th.
Still
And
green.
see why Pods is America's number
Turn
1
3.
container moving company. Whether
Cindric
you're
leading the
relocating
field into
or
turn
renovating,
3.
save up to 30% at pods.com today.
Here we go. Cars now starting to move around.
800s by bundling our home and auto insurance.
Coming to 7 to go, and Cindric leads the field. The trial. Cindric at the line. It's 7 to go.
No, she's mocking me.
Hey, that's the nephew too.
Hey,
That's Byron.
Acting like a total baby.
She's 2.
Only pay for what you need.
This Xfinity Wi-Fi is booming.
Off on turn 2. 7 to go on the back straightaway. This is probably the craziest 2-wide racing I've ever seen with 7 to go. Usually they're 3 wide right now. Oh, the big one's gonna strike.
Well, everyone who knows a boom when they see one is going to want in.
Oh my gosh, dude. Reddick. What are you doing, man?
More where that came from. Welcome to
6 to
the
go.
SEC. Welcome to NASCAR.
Someone's got to pull out for 3 wide, right? There's no way.
The Masked Singer semifinals.
Big one's gonna happen.
The Barn Bar. The county's
I would like
best
to see
hangout.
Ryan Priest flip at Talladega now.
Here's the living smooth with the always smooth, easy drinking Keystone Light.
What's better
Oh
than
my
a
gosh, he
limited
was
time
out in the
deal?
bottom lane.
An unlimited time deal. That's why the $5
Is that-
biggie bag with a
I
junior
don't
bacon
know that
cheeseburger
was.
is available all the time. Because the
Oh my
best
gosh,
time
we're
for
coming to
fresh
5 to
frozen
go.
beef and Applewood smoked bacon is all the time. Go.
Through the
For best deal of
triangle.
all time, gotta be Wendy's.
5 to go.
5 laps to go at Talladega, and now Austin Cindric has help in the form
Come
of
on,
Ryan
Cindric.
Preece alongside 2 Fords at the front, bunch of Hendrick Chevys right behind them, then Joey Logano in 5th, more Chevrolets, and then the Fords of Gregson Smith and the Chevy of Chase Elliott round out the top 10.
After the luck, and we talk about this, heard about Brad Keselowski saying 50% luck and even finishing these things. After the
Oh
luck
my
that 60
gosh.
cars had Ryan Preece on super speedways, for him to get back up there
Larson
and
is
put
all
himself
over
in
those
position
two
again, you
cars.
can't help but to root for him. He has been beaten battered on these racetracks.
On the inside, Ford in front of
Here it
Chevrolet.
comes,
On the
Kyle
outside,
Larson.
Ford in front of Chevrolet. Neither of those Chevys are going to help either one of those 2 Fords, so where are they going to go?
Well, that third place Ford on the bottom of Joey Logano, he's in a position to still help his teammate Austin Cindric by pushing that 5 car, keeping that gap closed. But the outside lane
Priest
is
out
doing
front.
better right now. And really what William Byron wants to do is push that 60 car out there as far as he can to try to give himself a gap to get down into that bottom lane and make that pass for the lead.
Or to
Oh my
utilize, push him
gosh,
out there,
Byron.
back it up a little bit, and utilize that
Alex
push from his
Bowman.
teammate Bowman behind him. Gives you those opportunities, options.
And I'm sure right there,
Crap.
William Byron, when he pushed
Turn
Ryan
3.
Preece out there that last
Oh,
lap,
no.
he was hoping that he would move to the bottom lane to cycle himself back to the front.
Coming to 3 to go.
Josh?
Well, far from a smooth race for William Byron. He had steering issues in stage 1 and 2. They went under the hood during the break in stage number 2 to address it. Got it much better, and here he is running second in that top line. And remember, 4 straight top 10s here at Talladega for William Byron, the longest after streak, but he wants that win, guys.
Oh my gosh,
Well, to do it,
Byron,
he's
dude,
going to
what
have
are
to
you
get
doing,
around the
man?
outside
This person's
because
so aggressively-
Cindric and Preece are controlling the pace of the race. Neither one of them getting far in front of the other, enough for one of those Chevrolets to slip past.
Ooh.
32 times. A race at Talladega has been decided by a last lap pass.
And this is why
Byron's
these people
pushing
come
60.
in droves to Talladega. They're on their feet, guys. 3 to go, coming to 2 to go. It's time to make the moves. Who's going to make them, and when are they going to do it?
Oh my
And right
goodness,
now it
dude, they're
becomes
wrecked.
really hard when you're the leader that things start to speed up right here because everybody starts
Coming to
pushing
2
and shoving
laps
a
to
little
go
bit
through the
harder.
trial.
Fords up front. Chevy's in row 2. A Ford
Priest
and
is
a
up
Chevy
here at the
in
top.
each of rows 3,
5 up in
4,
second
and
place. 2 to
5.
go
2
at
to
the
go.
line.
We have seen
Priest
these
back
front
up front.
2 cars take each other out before.
Byron,
It's going to
he's
be
got
blocks.
help.
It's going to be pushing, side drafting,
2
all,
laps to go
all
at
the things in
Talladega.
between.
and it's because of the energy that
Would be
helped behind
Cindric
them.
or Priest.
And by the time you get to the
Everybody.
tri-oval on the last lap, you have no friends. It's every man for himself.
Well, and the
We're
big
gonna wreck
problem
on the
comes
final
over
lap.
these
Someone's gonna flap
bumps
in the
going into turn
grandstands.
3 as these guys get super aggressive on this last lap. That's
Come
where
on,
a lot of
so
the
one
problems
lap to
happen when the
go
cars start
in
to
the
bounce
turn
up and
3.
down, and they're trying to push.
All right, Cindric eases it so
Here
Priest
comes
can pull
Ryan
alongside.
Priest.
That keeps the Chevrolets at
Caution
bay.
lights
They're
back
still
on.
too wide.
Back to the tri-oval. Lots of
As they come
pushing.
to the tri-oval and face the white flag.
Yeah, and you see
Through the
Kyle Larson
tri-oval,
down
and the
there on
white
bottom
flag
of
is
the
out.
racetrack
Sponsored
doing
by
everything
Credit One
that he
Bank.
can do to get a side draft off that 60
One to go
Ryan
at
Priest to pull
Talladega.
him back.
And Priest is
You
out
want to go
front.
now. If that caution comes out, the race is over.
There are 3 wide in the back of
Zane
the pack.
Smith spit out. Ty Dillon
Zane
is
Smith,
out.
4
Here
wide.
comes Hocevar.
And that'll affect
Contact
the whole
Austin
row
Dillon.
up on the top.
Off turn 2 for the final time. Still,
On
2
the back
Fords
straightaway.
in front of 2 Chevys.
Priest,
in front of a
Cindric.
Chevy and a Ford, 2 rows back. There's the bump from Larson, trying to get that number 2
Larson,
out of the way
Priest
so he
gets
can make a
blue
move.
sideways in
Who's gonna
turn
come to the
3.
outside?
It's the gaps. The energy's going to come from the gaps.
Priest,
Watch him. See
out
that
front at
5 car slow
Talladega.
down? He's trying to create a gap to get a run on him.
Off
There's
turn
those lap
4.
cars up in the front. That should help
The final
that bottom
time.
lane get a little bit of draft
Coming to the checker
finish line.
flag.
Into the
Contact.
final time, jostling 3
Priest
behind
at the
first
line.
2
Photo
rows.
finish.
Cindric
or Priest.
at the line.
Cindric's gonna win Talladega.
I like Cindric, and it's because of them lap cars in front of him. He had the upper hand with the cars in front.
I think Austin Cindric
That was
won.
perfect timing for him.
Just a little bit of draft helped that bottom lane move forward.
Here
Oh,
it
it
is,
was
the run
Austin
to the
Cindric.
line behind those lap cars, and it is Austin Cindric beating
Wow.
Ryan Priest by about 3 feet for his 3rd career victory in his 125th start.
He's good at
How's
it.
he
He
not
puts
wrecked?
himself in position at the end of these races. Finally capitalized on it. Great job, Austin Cindric.
He becomes
Ryan
the-
Priest, another one.
Yes, Cindric becomes the 18th driver to break a 30-plus race winless streak at Talladega.
Well, they're due, and we talked about the Fords needing to be able to capitalize on today with fast cars, and he put himself in position to capitalize on it.
Another last lap pass for the
Congratulations,
win
Austin
at
Cindric.
Talladega.
I don't know how they
Looking
didn't
at
wreck,
Roger
dude. This
Penske
is
and Walt
supposed to be like the
Sarnecki, they
biggest
were up
wreck
here
ever,
on the
dude.
balcony cheering their driver on. And here's a look at it.
Yeah, and you see these cars nose to tail down the back straightaway, but
They're
the
supposed to
thing
wreck,
that's
dude.
going to happen, and
I
we
know
can
I'm
start to
saying
see this
dude a
develop
lot.
as we get off of turn 4. They were still pretty much a dead heat as they exited turn 4. They caught those lap cars 2 seconds a lap of Kyle Busch
I really thought
and
Priest was
Josh
gonna go
Berry,
flipping in the
and that
grandstands,
just
bro.
allowed that bottom lane to get that.
I really thought Priest was gonna go flipping in the grandstands, bro.
To get that advantage on Austin Cindric's car. See those lap cars?
There they are.
Yeah.
See, how did they not wreck? This is supposed to be a big wreck right here. They should have went 4 wide and almost flipped over the back straightaway. That's not fair.
Love everything about it.
I'm calling another rematch. Someone do another lap. Do another 5 laps.
Finally get a race on a drafting track to
This
win.
is so lame, bro. No offense,
Well, they've had the fastest
but
cars.
like,
They've had the
dude,
best
they should have
plan. They've
wrecked.
had the best teamwork,
That's not cool,
but they've
bro.
had the fastest cars, and today, finally
Congratulations to Austin
capitalized on
Cindric,
those
but
fast cars.
How did he
not
get
having
that
a
track
wreck
position,
in Talladega is
Larry?
crazy.
Of everybody that made their green flag stop, they had the quickest stop at 3.2 seconds. They won the battle off pit road with their group.
A little bit of a gamble there.
That's not
Less
cool.
fuel, baby. He led that group in and he led that group out, and that made all the difference.